with a brand new design that frees up even more pixels for personalization and an inventory of features to up your game at every level. Like GX Control to help rein in your resources with integrated limiters for RAM, CPU, and network. A sidebar for direct access to your favorite side quests, streams, and posts. And built-in privacy tools like ad and tracker blockers and free no-log VPN. Check into GX Core.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Robbie Basel Show. Happy to have all of you with me here today. I am your host, the usual one, the guy who always sits in this chair and talks random things with all of you. Robbie Basel, so happy to have you guys with me here today. Not a lot to go over. It's going to be a little more brief show today. Just kind of how these summer episodes go at this point. But we're almost into August already. It's kind of absurd, isn't it? I feel like the summer is just going by as quickly as possible, kind of like some of these rainstorms we've been getting in the Northeast. Am I right? But yeah, a lot to talk about today in just short amount of time. It's a lot to talk about with very few actual talking points to begin with. One big one we're going to focus on today is the MLB trade deadline. Just hours away, it feels like, from the conclusion of the MLB trade deadline. What other big names can we see be moved in the next 48 to 72 hours? It feels like we're going over the F1 stream, what my thoughts were on it, what the future of that could be like. And we're also going to go over the race from the weekend, talk as much crap as possible about one of the most boring races of the season. And we're also going to preview Hungary. We'll give an update on what Hungary could look like, if the possibilities of there being a stream or not. And of course, we'll talk about the transfer window chaos. More moves are likely to be done in the next couple of days and then over the next few weeks as the Premier League season and other major leagues kick off in the next few weeks. All that to talk about for sure. And I can't wait to talk about it all because there's so much that we could say about, all of this, right? But one big one, of course, is the MLB trade deadline. It's days away. What big names could be moved over the next few hours? Now, right now, I actually should have pulled this up earlier. We have our MLB trade deadline moves so far. Some teams have been making some smaller moves. The Yankees trying to add inconsistent depth to replace inconsistent depth. Okay. There's a lot of news about some smaller pieces. Danny Jansen. You have Eugenio Suarez, who I thought was going to get traded last week, got hurt. We now don't know if he'll be traded. Smaller move there with Chris Paddock going to the Tigers. Dodgers in the market for a closer. I don't know if they're going to get one or not. Braves overhauling. Yeah, the Braves, I don't know what they're doing, honestly. They are overhauling with like the weirdest moves ever, and that makes me uncomfortable. But let's talk over the latest rumors and what we could see over the next few hours. But before we do that, two things we need to do. One, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you want. I can't control you guys can do whatever the hell y'all want. But I'd really appreciate you guys hitting the like button, hitting that subscribe button on the road to 100 subs. So hit that little button down below and maybe check out one of the Instagrams that are at the bottom of the description. All the handles are down there as well for myself, this channel, and WIUR, who I'm president for. So make sure to check out all those links in the description below. But let's go over some team standings that I couldn't get up in time for the stream. One big surprise is that the freaking Toronto Blue Jays are still atop of the American League East, 5-game gap. Then it's the Yankees and the Red Sox are pretty much tied with each other. Of course, the Yankees have less losses, so they are a game ahead of Boston. Then it's Tampa and then Baltimore. Central, you have Detroit, who are running away with it. They've been on a little cold recently. They've lost 7 of 10 and have a couple of injury problems. They play the Diamondbacks this week. They are 10 games, pretty much 9 games ahead of the Cleveland Guardians and the Kansas City Royals. Right, also right there are the Minnesota Twins, who have been better, but not by much. Speaking of teams that are hot, the White Sox have won 7 of 10 and still don't have 40 wins. That's all I need to say. Out west, the Houston Astros continue their reign of dominance. 3-game gap over the Mariners. Rangers are 4 back, but they've been better. They've won 8 of 10, and maybe they can make a move at the deadline. And it's the Angels and the A's wrapping up the American League. Wild card standings out in the American League right now. The Yankees, Mariners, and the Red Sox currently hold those spots, but the Rangers are right behind them, a half game out, and then it's Tampa Bay at 2.5 out. So if you look at the American League right now, some teams are starting to make moves. The Tigers, of course, adding Chris Paddock as a depth starter because they're dealing with a couple injuries in the rotation. You have Cleveland, who've done nothing. They're actually dealing with some problems with Emmanuel Clase right now over a possible betting probe. He's suspended, from what we're hearing, till the end of August. So Cleveland could be looking to maybe sell at the deadline now. They're not trading J-Ram, but they could maybe trade depth pieces, which I find intriguing. Royals are probably not going to do anything. They just lost Chris Bubic for a long time, probably the season. So that's unfortunate. And the Twins are a dumpster fire. It's the Minnesota Twins. So the Central, we're not seeing a lot of movement. I'm not expected to see a lot of movement. in terms of positive growth for many of these teams. The Tigers need to do something. Do something else. I don't know what else they would add. Sandy Alcantara would be fun, but I don't think they want to trade their whole team for him. So, yeah, I think as we get closer and closer to Thursday, that would be interesting. Um, like I said, according to Ken Rosenthal, with Cleveland, Say was placed on the non-disciplinary paid leave list through August 31st as part of an MLB investigation into sports betting that has not only eliminated any chance of the 52 and 54 Cleveland Guardians becoming buyers, it also increased the possibility of the club maybe dealing Stephen Kwan. So a team that maybe would need an outfielder or a starter who you might not have to pay that much for, and Shane Bieber, that would be an interesting piece that you can maybe target. We know Kwan's has interest, but every year he has interest. One team I would keep an eye out for him would be the Phillies. It always feels like they need outfielders at this rate, especially in center field. So that would be interesting. Luis Robert market is probably going to be nuts. If you're talking closer though, we're gonna go over more positions right now. Actually, no, we'll continue. We'll just go over whatever at this rate. So we're just gonna scroll over what I have on my sheet. Other players I want to watch out for. Ryan Helsley from the St. Louis Cardinals. I personally love Ryan Helsley. And if you look at the standings in the National League Central, in the NL Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are 9 games back now. They've been pretty awful recently. Lost 6 of 10. They've kind of fallen out of the race. They're only 3.5 out of the final wild card spot. So I don't know if they'll deal Ryan Helsley unless they're totally convinced they're not making the playoffs. If they still feel like over the next 48 hours, if they still have a chance, I don't see Ryan Helsley getting moved. But your big seller here is going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know what they sell. Mitch Keller will probably be the piece. Let's look at their stats, actually. Because other than Paul Skeens, what do they have? I honestly don't know. O'Neill Cruz, McCutcheon, they've all been solid. But a lot of people want to look at their pitching. And the big piece there, even though he's 4-10, would be Mitch Keller. I'm intrigued with Mitch. I've always been intrigued with Mitch Keller, to be fair. 4-10 with a 3.69 ERA and 127 innings pitched. Just eclipsed 100 strikeouts in his last start. He could be a piece that I definitely see Pittsburgh moving on from if they can get decent value for him, which I feel like that could very much happen. But continuing with the theme of the Central, Ryan Helsley is going to be the biggest piece that you could probably buy in the NL Central right now. According to Mark Feinsad, there are no fewer than 6 teams interested in the hard-throwing righty, including both teams in New York, the Dodgers, Jays, Phillies, and Rangers. The team I would keep an eye out for him would be the Toronto Blue Jays. They need to do something. Please, do something. But the Texas Rangers would be a very interesting one because they've gotten back in it. And, I mean, I don't know which one of these teams would want to rent. I don't think the Mets would get him because it's a rental. Yankees, that's not a Yankees type of move. I would look mainly, if you're looking at who I think would get him, you got to probably look at the Dodgers, the Rangers, the Blue Jays, and the Phillies. Those are the 4 teams I would think are in the mix. I think the team that's going to get him are the Toronto Blue Jays or the Texas Rangers. I feel like for them, they need more bullpen options than the others. Philadelphia always needs bullpen options, so I don't know where I'm going with that, but that's just a definite player to watch out for. Would be Ryan Helsley. Nolan Arenado is always a trade candidate out there with the St. Louis Cardinals, but his contract is so atrocious that I just don't feel like they would be able to move him. One other team that I feel like could sell, but they probably won't. Originally, my thought was the Atlanta Braves, but they don't have a lot to move to begin with. They're 45-60. They're a disaster. And they lost 7 of 10. And they're 19-34 on the road. So this is one of the worst Braves teams I've seen in a while. But yeah, 45-60. They're not making the playoffs. Rip Atlanta. I don't know what they do. They've traded for a lot of weird. Hold on. For some reason. Hold on, you guys. Refresh that. Yeah, now we're good. So where was I going with the shout on the Marlins? Well, there's been a lot of rumors about Sandy Alcantara being on the move. And once again, another player that I didn't think was going to be traded at the beginning of the season, Sandy Alcantara. For a Marlins team that has done nothing, other than randomly get third in the NL East right now and be 7 out of a wild card. Sandy Alcantara will definitely be a piece that could move for sure. I have a feeling though that they are probably asking a mountain for him. But yeah, that's just a weird one as well. Pirates are now likely to keep Mitch Keller. That makes me uncomfortable because why would you want to have Mitch Keller on your team? You could probably get like a billion prospects for him. But going back to Alcantara, uh, the chances of him being traded are increasing, which could open the door for multiple big starter teams to go in for the starter. Now, obviously, the question with him this year is his ERA is kind of horrible. It's a 6.66, triple six, brilliant. But teams that are interested in him, the Cubs, the Jays, the Padres, the Red Sox are in on him, and of course the New York Mets. Now, the Marlins do not have to trade him. He's under contract with a club option through 2027. I feel like this is not a play. I mean, I think he could get dealt if they get the right value. I just don't see a lot of teams giving the big value for Alcantara, to be honest. He'll have one more chance. We will have one more look at Alcantara before the deadline. He pitches tonight against the St. Louis Cardinals, another team that I said was going to probably sell. That's going to be intriguing. That's just definitely something to watch out for. Deadline, by the way, Thursday night, 6 p.m. So just over 48 hours away from the time we're recording this part from the MLB trade deadline. And there's so much with this that will happen. And there's definitely some teams that could make some smaller moves. Let's quickly go over the rest of the divisions. Milwaukee and Chicago continue to battle for the NL Central lead. The Dodgers continue to lead the West ahead of the San Diego Padres. San Francisco Giants have taken themselves pretty much out of it already, losing 8 of 10 ahead of the deadline, never a positive sight. However, they play Pittsburgh now, so that'll be intriguing. The Padres are playing the Mets, and the Dodgers have a very interesting series out at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Speaking of Cincinnati, they are 2 games out of the wild card. I'm interested to see if they're going to do anything at all. But yeah, we've definitely listed out some players for sure to watch out on. The Blue Jays, it feels like there's something inevitable about them. Like maybe they trade for Dennis Santana or Bednar from Pittsburgh is going to deal someone, but they just need to do something. The Twins are another one. That's a good one. So the Twins, they have another couple of pieces that they can move on from. Willie Castro and Harrison Bader are definitely one of them. Daniel Columba. I don't know how to say that name. Definitely they'll all be pieces to trade. Stephen Kwan will be interesting, but I don't know if they'll deal him or not. Ryan Helsley's a big 2. The Yankees, I don't know what they're gonna do, honestly. Yankees are a mess with this. But the Angels, yes, the Angels are also a team to watch out for. They could maybe deal Ward or Joe Adell. I don't think they'll deal Joe Adell because of his team control stuff. But he is in the middle of a breakout season, apparently. So he's drawing significant interest. Taylor Ward also has interest because he's under club control through 2026. So, yeah, I mean, that's intriguing. But, yeah, his barrel rate has jumped a lot, and he's in the 94th percentile of that, which is actually pretty good. Mets open the trading Mark Vientos. I don't feel like that'll happen. The Cubs interested in Mackenzie Gore. That's such a Cubs deal, too. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely teams, even ones that I haven't mentioned that we could watch out for. Seattle will definitely be one of them because they traded for Josh Naylor, so that'll solve their first baseman problem. They need just another bat. They've always sucked offensively. Yeah, then again, they are leading their division in runs, so I don't know how to take that how you will. But yeah, they're not a complete disaster, but there definitely are going to be teams over the next 48 hours that make moves. Biggest player I think that would be on the move is Ryan Helsley out of all those. I think he will definitely get dealt. Prediction for him, Jays, probably. They need to do, like I said, Toronto need to do something. Anything, please. Let's go over now to something that we need to review. We're going to go first from the channel perspective. Will we do it again? And then the race. And then preview next week with F1. So, Belgium review. In terms of streams, obviously it didn't run how I thought it would. There's a lot of things that I've learned worked with that stream, and a lot of stuff that didn't obviously work with that stream. Um, but yeah, I mean, when you have an hour delay and you're talking to no one, it's always a bit tough. Yeah, the hour delay did not help out the race stream at all. But it was a long stream. Not a lot happened during the race. I felt terrible about it from start to finish. But yeah, it just was not as I would have liked it. There's there's always things that you wish you can correct. I'm actually getting texts from like 50 people right now. Oh, Jarrell Hunt is on the move. Nice. But where I'm going with that is there's so many things that you can improve on, but you never would know until you try. Like this F1 thing. The biggest thing we screwed up, I screwed up, was the fact that half of the graphics didn't work. And now we're going to try and work on, I'm going to try and work on fixing that. Possibly we do a stream for Hungary. Hungary's always a chaotic one. So that would be fun. But that's definitely an idea I would have for the future is maybe doing Hungary, maybe doing another race during my semester, race or two, depending on what's going on. But yeah, I personally, in terms of the channel, we got a good review from it. But there's just so much we would need to correct in such a short amount of time. We got I want to say over 420 views of the two streams combined, which is right around where we needed to be for me to even consider doing another one. But yeah, right now, in terms of F1, I just don't know where we go from here if we'll do it again. It was very tough to set up because not a lot of this stuff worked. And when it did work, it wasn't to the highest standard that I would like it to be. We will have streams for other sporting events throughout the next month or so and into the future. We'll possibly be doing stuff with other channels, which is really intriguing for me. But F1, in terms of doing more streams of F1 on here, I just don't know right now. That's like my big thing with that. So it was a learning process. It will be a learning process, and I just don't know what the future of F1 on this channel will be right now. In terms of that type of stream, get this out of here. In terms of that type of stream, I just don't know. However, let's talk about the actual race. It sucked. Can we all agree with that, please? Like, the whole race, even when we had the hour delay and people were complaining about the delay. When I heard people complain about the delay, I knew it was going to be a disaster. Everyone knew it was going to be a disaster. Why is it not working? You're like, Robbie, why were people complaining about the delay? Great question, chat. And let me explain. People were complaining that there wasn't a lot of carnage and them not using the wet weather tires. There was no purpose. Why even have them in the first place? We all know, if you followed Formula One for a long time, that Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium is one of the most dangerous tracks in Formula One, especially with the big corner Eau Rouge in the Radion. And we all know, if you follow the sport, how many crashes there are in the wet in that stupid corner. And people have unfortunately lost their lives from that corner from 6 years ago now. Not in F1, but in F2. Where I'm going with that is, I think it was smart with the impeding rain that they did what they did. They couldn't move it up because they have all the other Formula action before the F1 race, if I'm not mistaken. So there's always people saying, "Oh, they needed to do that. They needed to do the race. Use the inters." It wasn't. I mean, the beginning would have been interesting, but they would have had to red flag the race after 6 laps, and then you would have had to be on the clock. And then you wouldn't be able to. I don't think they would have gotten 44 laps in if they started the race at 9 a.m. EST, 3 p.m. Local time. They would not have finished the race. So me personally, I think it was good that they didn't start the race right on time, right away, even though Max and maybe another driver was complaining about, like, yeah, start the race. I think it was smart that they didn't go right away. And it opened the door for multiple other teams to nail a strategy. And that is where we get today's driver of the day, Lewis Hamilton, who started 18th because oh my God, he got track limits in qualifying. I wish I could put the clip up here. Then I was like surprised as all hell. And then he comes out, starts in the pit lane, but because of the procedure, he got like it was a rolling start. He could be out there on the grid. Oh, it was a rolling start, so that it'd be like a NASCAR type of start. And one by one by one by one by one. That's what I mean. And Hamilton got to be on track. He got to jump everyone pretty much because of a big Ferrari strategy going. Hey, Smoothie, I appreciate the love, brother. Yeah, it's a good question. Maybe one day. We'll see how where this channel goes one day, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, right now, you look at Ferrari and how much of a wreck they are. Think about let's use our heads for a minute, chat. Use your head. If you follow Formula One, you know Ferrari's miscues on strategy calls over the years. And now we're seeing Ferrari going to the medium on like laps, what was it, lap 9? I don't remember what lap it was. Early on in the race, first one to take the gamble was Ferrari. And they've never really done a strategy right in the last couple of years. We've seen miscue after miscue after miscue with tire strategies in multiple different circuits, and it's cost them every single time. It's the same thing for me. And then Hamilton comes out and figures it out. That is why I loved it. I said it back in January, how good of a move it was for Hamilton to Ferrari. Because you don't F up the strategy. It's as simple as that. And that's how you get a performance like this. You bottle qualifying. You go to start 18th, which is the most Ferrari thing ever. And then he finishes 7th. Brilliant. Give him driver of the day right now. I'd give him every award from the season because that's one of the best drives of the year. Was Hamilton not screwing up? It's amazing, isn't it, Chad? Hamilton 7th. Fair play to him. But other than Hamilton and the battle for 10th with Gasly, Behrman, it was originally with, where is he? It was Bortoleto, Gasly, Behrman, Hulkenberg, and somebody else. Does anyone remember who the other one was? I don't know. But with all of those guys together, other than that, nothing happened. Nothing. All we had, chat, was one overtake in the front. Leclerc defend for his life. That's it. What do you want me to say? Nothing happened. It was the same thing I was commentating on stream over and over again. Verstappen trying to go around the outside into turn 5, but Leclerc defends for his life once again, keeps the Dutchman behind. It was the same thing. And then Hamilton not failing to get past Albon. Williams make no sense. We'll talk about them in a second. But overall as a race, it was a letdown. It's getting a C- overall. The sprint was crap. The qualifying was actually pretty good, but the actual race was garbage. And people love Spa, and I understand that for the legacy. It was the 100th anniversary of the first Belgian Grand Prix. But it just was not it. It was not it. Right before Hungary, too, where we've seen multiple different race winners recently, from Esteban Ocon and out in the Alpine to Piastri's controversy recently. Like, you've seen multiple weird moments there. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Spa right now. But biggest letdown, I mean, Carlos Sainz finishing 18th. Brother, I don't know what the hell he was doing. But yeah, I had a lot of hope for him. He was the wrong Williams driver I have faith in, I guess. Someone asked in the last chat, how did we do with my friend's F1 fantasy team? And I know because I kept bringing it up because with Pierre Gasly, I kept saying, oh, falling with the fantasy team or whatever. Let me find it. So we nailed it with McLaren. She had Piastri kill it. He won, obviously. but none of her other drivers were good, which I felt terrible for because I mean McLaren. Me giving her McLaren's team was smart, but other than that, we bottled it, and she had the best performance of the whole league with two things carrying her. Brilliant stuff. And type one, if you think that was amazing. But Smoothie King, I appreciate all the kind words. Really do. Really do love that from Smoothie King. More people need to be like him, man. Be like them, man. For real. But yeah, the F1 fantasy thing. I know someone was typing in chat about it last time. It went well. It did go well, which I'm very happy about. But happy about it or not, we still need to go to acknowledge that this race was a double thumbs down. It was a letdown, chat. And yeah, it just was not it. It wasn't it. So where do we go next? Obviously, we go next to Hungary. We go to Budapest, Hungary. And what are my expectations for the Hungarian Grand Prix? We'll go over them quickly before we go into transfers and then be done for the day. Obviously, with Hungary, there will be a lot of madness, and that is why I love Hungary personally. The Hungarian Grand Prix, which, by the way, qualifying, if you want to watch, is at 10 a.m. on Saturday, 9 a.m. EST Sunday. Madness. Hungary is always fun. Down in the turn one, a long right-hander. It always causes problems. We've seen a lot of big crashes there as well. So if you like NASCAR, that is the race for you, for real. Man, it's always an interesting one, Hungary, because we've seen complete dominance in some years with like Max, whatever. But then you have Esteban Ocon win. You had Oscar Piastri win. Who won last year? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Wasn't Piastri the winner of Hungarian Grand Prix? And that's why you have a keyboard here. I thought I did this race last year. The Hungarian Grand Prix was Oscar Piastri, who McLaren forced Lando to go and give Piastri the lead because Norris got ahead on a pit strategy. That's right. It was the first McLaren 1-2 finish since the 2021 Italian Grand Prix that Daniel Ricciardo won, actually, which is pretty freaking awesome. As Wikipedia would say it, the race featured a dramatic battle between Piastri and Norris, with team orders playing a crucial role in the final laps. Yeah, no shit. I know. Sorry for I cursed there. Verstappen faced challenges throughout the race, finishing in fifth after colliding with Hamilton earlier on. And then that really started the McLaren dramatic. 70 laps around Budapest. Yeah. I mean, after multiple teams got Belgium wrong, and what will happen now? I mean, let me just put the right thing in real quick. Sorry, chat. Having some more problems. I mean, think about it, right? Multiple teams need to rebound. VCarb need to rebound, especially with Isaac Hadjar, who had apparently car problems. You have as well with what's their name? Haas report. Haas were very poor, and they got the race completely wrong with Esteban Ocon. Ollie Behrman, where did Behrman finish? I don't remember where he finished. But yeah, it was a frustrating weekend for VCarb. It was a frustrating weekend for multiple teams. But yeah, I mean, it was also a frustrating weekend if you think about it for Mercedes with Kimi Antonelli, who really struggle at Spa-Francorchamps. So it's a big opportunity for rebounds. That's what I'm thinking this week is. And that is why I'm going to pick the top three the way that I'm doing it. So let's predict the top five for the not Belgium. We're going to Hungary, dang it. Hungarian Grand Prix. We'll go from 5 to 1. P5, I'm going Charles Leclerc. I think going with Ferrari and P5, I think is pretty smart. It's a no-brainer. Keeps it simple. P4, I'm going with Verstappen again. Just makes a lot of sense, Max. There's not really a track that Red Bull would be suited for, but I think he gets the better of Charles Leclerc this week. But there is a driver that I think that is going to do a little bit better than how he's done recently, and that is because Mercedes, I feel like, are pretty good in Hungary. They have recently, in recent years, they've been pretty quick. That's why I have George Russell P3. I think Russell is going to have a good week here in Budapest. And then it's the McLarens. How do you order the McLarens? I think Norris gets his revenge. Give me Lando Norris to win the Hungarian Grand Prix after last year having to swap places with Oscar Piastri, unless there's a collision lap 1, which is very possible here. I think Lando Norris is going to get the upper hand on Piastri and make this title race even more interesting heading into the next break. Because after this week in Hungary, the next race after that isn't until the end of the month, the 29th to the 31st in the Netherlands, which is Max Verstappen's home Grand Prix and the final Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, which is really sad. So, yeah, the Netherlands will be after Hungary, but this is a very crucial week in the calendar. We know I talked about it last week. I talked about on Sunday how crucial of a week last week was for the F1 title race with the Belgian Grand Prix. How big it would be because Oscar Piastri won and able to extend his gap, giving himself some leeway after Lando Norris struggling a couple of races earlier on, including, and you have to also mention this, the incident in Canada where Lando went into the pit wall, or the wall next to the pit lane, down the pit straight. So there's always a moment here and there that really can define a season. These next couple of races, this race in Belgium we just had, next race out in Hungary, I think it's going to be even more crucial because if Lando doesn't win in Hungary and Oscar does, the momentum is gone going into big week in Zandvoort, Monza. You get a week off and you go to Azerbaijan. Like, even those 3 races, Monza is going to be a madness. I cannot wait for that. But yeah, Hungary's a big week, and that's my projected order. I have Lando winning to get revenge. Then I have Piastri. Then I have George Russell. Then Verstappen and Russell, my predicted top 5. What else are we talking today? Because we have more to get to and not a lot of time. We have soccer transfers. Yes, chat, transfer time. We need to talk more chaos, damn it. Premier League has seen multiple stars sign this window. Who will be next? I just listed a couple of them at the bottom. Florian Wirtz, Victor Gyökeres, Ekitike. I spelled wrong, my fault. Frimpong and more. I'll just take Ekitike out of here. Sorry, Ekitike. We will keep you in the we'll keep you in fray with this. But who is the next big player to sign into the Premier League, especially? What's the next big move that people are monitoring ahead of European seasons getting underway? Also, soon we're going to talk Champions League qualifiers, all that type of stuff. I think that will be a lot of fun. But latest news, who are we following over the next couple of weeks? One big player definitely watch out for, and I've been highlighting him in recent shows, has been, where is he? Benjamin Sesko. Yes, Ben Sesko, who I love as a striker, and you will definitely be watching out for him this week, especially. We know that Newcastle United are in on Benjamin Sesko, along with Manchester United. That is definitely the player I would imagine going next. And yeah, and that's a big player. It's a big striker, physical, Eastern European as well. So we know that they can cause some chaos. And he plays at RB Leipzig. He didn't have the best season last year in the Bundesliga, but he is a player with a lot of potential. He's very young. I believe he's 22 years old. He's a lot of talent. Big leg. He strikes the ball with pace, and he's a very hard shot to save. It's very tough to stop a guy like Benjamin Sesko. And I love a player like him. He's tall, he's physical, and he's decent on the ball. Has a great right foot to him. He's always a player to watch out for in transfer windows. People have heard about him for a long time, playing for multiple clubs in the Red Bull system, now RB Leipzig. I think I don't know if he'll move to one of these two clubs, particularly Newcastle United are in a flux due to the issue now with Alexander Isak, who might be going to Liverpool, which I don't know if that happens or not because they just signed Ekitike, but it's very possible that a player like Alexander Isak does move to Liverpool, which will make Liverpool the favorites in the Premier League in 2025. If they're not already, that would be a very class move for this a side that does see themselves as favorites, and they deserve to be with all the moves they've made this year. Think about Frimpong, Kirkes. You added, of course, Ekatike and more. Like they've done so good. It's unbelievable what type of nonsense. Also, another player that you can maybe see on the move, allegedly, is Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea to replace Isak. I don't think that would happen. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And other weird moves, João Felix is now going to Saudi. I don't know how to feel about that one, but we move. Tajon Buchanan goes to Villarreal. That's actually a nice move. But another weird one that to me at least, was James Trafford re-signing with Man City and not having a starting job in the Prem next season. I don't know about this one. It's a very weird move, not gonna lie. Man City have always done well with goalkeepers, but I just don't understand it. I don't. I mean, Man City, first of all, Man City have done an excellent job. They sold him to Burnley. They get him back on the buyback clause. He's great with the ball at his feet. 27 million pounds is not anywhere near what a player of Trafford's capabilities should be sold for. It's a good deal for them, but I just don't know if they're gonna play him at all. Trafford, of course, who's been there for a while and who was in the academy of Man City and did all this stuff. He had a phenomenal season with Burnley last year as well, and he provides a phenomenal resale value. So, to me, I'm a little mixed on it because I don't know if he'll play really at Man City, but it's a big player in terms of resale value. That's something that you could definitely watch out for. Other weird moves, other moves that we haven't really mentioned, Brahma and Buemo going to Manchester United. We did talk about him briefly last week, but I think it was a really good move, mainly for Brentford. They got great money out of him. $87.4 million for Brian Mbeumo. I believe is pretty good. I don't know if he'll work in the Manchester United system with Ruben Amorim. We'll find out very soon because the Premier League season is just about 2 weeks away. So there's a lot that we can watch out for over the next couple of days and weeks. But he's been a consistently strong performer, excellent left foot, type of player that Ruben Amorim will love off the right-hand side or the left-hand side, though I'll probably see him more off the right. They needed more wingers or forward-type players. He did overperform his XG by a lot, but he won't. I don't know. It's a very odd one. Other moves that we really haven't highlighted. I mean, Man City have done really good. They got the youngster in Naipan from Rosenborg. That's a great deal. Arsenal, of course, got Madueke. And Hugo Ekitike, who I spelt wrong, for $93 million because they've tried and failed to sign Isak, and they might try again, and they might succeed to sign Alexander Isak. So the player who would be next is one Premier League star on one club going to another. And that would be Alexander Isak, would be the next player that I would imagine gets signed by Liverpool if they find a way to get the deal done. I don't know if they do. It's a very tough deal to try and get. But right now, that is probably the biggest name that you'd watch out for in the Premier League. A lot of clubs have made their moves for the summer. There's not a lot left that you can do if you're one of these clubs, but yeah, Alexander Isak will probably be the biggest star left that would sign. In terms of international stars that are non-Premier League stars, I don't know who would be another one. I mean, I've always thought of Adam Lookman being a Premier League type player, but I don't think. I mean, Adam Lookman, I thought moved already or hasn't. I don't know. That was almost forgot about this one. Here's actually an international player that can make an impact. A non-Premier League player that can make an impact. I almost forgot about him, and that is Jarell Hato, center back from Ajax, the 19-year-old. Very big target for Chelsea right now because you can't have enough center backs. That would be a phenomenal guy. Almost forgot about Chelsea's moves because we haven't heard about them in a bit. But Xavi Simons and Jarell Hato would be great ads for what Chelsea is trying to do. They're trying to keep themselves in that guaranteed top four race. Because right now it feels like to me there are three clubs separating themselves at the top of the Premier League. You've Arsenal, City, Liverpool. At the top of the next tier right now is Chelsea, Club World Cup champions. They won the Conference League. They're going to the Champions League next year. They are at the top of the next level. But can they get all the way to the upper echelon and fight for a Premier League title? I just don't know right now. They'll be a team that they may need to do something else. I said that last week, and now they're trying to get those moves with Jarell Hato and possibly Xavi Simons, which would be very, very, very intriguing to me. But yeah, there's not a lot to talk about today. It's just one of those shows that, you wish you had more to talk about. And today, there's just not a lot to discuss. Premier League is just a couple weeks away, but there's not a lot of big moves that I think will happen other than Alexander Isak, maybe Benjamin Šeško that we talked about in the beginning of that segment. There's not much else that will be happening ahead of the Premier League. And speaking of which, in a couple, very soon, that's what I'll say it, will be the Premier League predictions video, Premier League predictions stream. So we'll have hopefully something set up correctly where I can make it work. Yeah, I will definitely make sure to do the Premier League prediction video. I know that's one of the fan favorites from the channel in recent years. It'll be the third edition of it, and maybe I will do better than my terrible prediction of Manchester United from last year. Go to the Instagram and check out that one because, oh boy, that was not good. But that is it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for watching. There will be more content to come out on Friday because we'll talk about more random stuff on Friday if we actually do a show this time around. I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. Thank you guys so much for watching again. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, guys.